What's up, everybody? Steve D'Angelo here at Fantasy Savvy. We got our boy Ernie at Fantasy Anthony. You can see it below the handles. We're going to be doing a live Underdog Ball Mania draft tonight for the Faceoff Sports Network. So, if you guys have never done an Underdog draft, you guys have, we want some introductions, some pointers. We'll be going through everything. Ernie's gonna be dropping a bunch of rookie info. He's all over the rookies as he's drafting them. I'm sure he'll drop some knowledge there. We got dynasty drafts, rookie drafts going on right now as well. But it is best ball season. Best ball leagues have opened up across the board, and everybody and their mother is drafting right now. And everybody's trying to. You got these hawks out here trying to fill every single league. So we stay on top of it early. We're in mid-May. And we'll be doing these best ball drafts all the way up until kickoff for week one. I know I will anyway, and I'm sure Ernie will as well. So Ernie, welcome to the show, man. I think this is your first show doing with me, but I know you went on with Ryan previously. But welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Thanks, bro. I really I'm happy to be here. I really appreciate you guys having me. First show with Ryan went really well. I'm excited to do my first best ball with you, Steve. Man, I'm ready to dig in.
Yeah, man. So, how long you been playing fantasy? What kind of leagues you usually been playing in throughout your career?
So I would say my first league I did was probably 2012, so a little over 10 years now.
Nice.
Started off like everybody else, just redraft, and then you get addicted, and now you're playing more leagues, and then that evolved into keeper leagues, and then I was introduced to sleeper in like 2019, and I got my first taste of dynasty, and then I've never looked back, man. So I'm just a fantasy football nut like everybody else, man. I'm a football nerd. At Sunday, I'm just checking my fantasy lineups, checking my same game parlays that aren't going to hit. But yeah, man, I love football, and I am an enthusiast. So I'll try to help everybody as much as I can.
Yeah, and Ernie's going to be with us all season long. We're going to be doing best ball drafts. He'll be doing some dynasty stuff, maybe some auction stuff, some high stakes leagues as well. So yeah, that's how it is, man. You get into it. Usually start with one league, your friends, your family gets you into a league. In my case, I got on my brother when I was real young, and then you get into another league, and then as the game obviously opened up over the years, now it's insane. You got the best ball, you got dynasty, you got auction keeper leagues, you got high stakes. You just keep opening it up because you can't get enough. So that's what we're here for. We got the passion, and we're gonna drop this Underdog $25 Best Ball Mania 6. So let's bring it up, and we'll enter at the same time here. Let's do a little bit of a countdown. 30 seconds per pick. We'll count down 5 seconds. You ready? You ready, Ernie?
Yes, sir, man. I'll follow your lead.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter.
Okay.
And we're waiting for 11 people. Did you get in?
I am slot 11. What slot are you?
Oh wow, I think you might have got in to another draft.
No.
Did you fill?
Yeah, mine's filled.
Oh God. All right. Well, I'm waiting for 11 people. I don't know why.
It's crazy, man. I got a good spot too. I got 11. I have like a little.
All right, so we could talk about your draft, and when mine fills up, we'll talk about mine as well. I'm surprised it's 11 people though.
Yeah, that's crazy. I must have just got in one, and you must have just missed. That's what happened.
Yeah, probably. I mean, we hit it at the same time. Now I'm down to 10 people. Okay. All right. Well, when you're playing best ball, what's your general strategy? I mean, you're playing the board, obviously, but are you, last year going in, everybody was like, the popular thing the past couple of years was got to get the receivers going off left and right. And then last year it kind of switched things up because the running backs were so dominant. So what have you seen in your best ball draft so far? Is it going back to receivers once again, or are people more inclined to go back to go into the running backs now?
So it's funny because you look at these rankings and it's running back top heavy, right? And usually, like when you're playing redraft in all my years, like the people that have like the RB1, like if you had David Johnson that year, you won. You know, you
Yeah.
had Derrick Henry, his monster season, you know, like you were in the championship. But now it's like the trend is going back towards wide receivers. And when I'm doing best ball, I still see like a lot of favoritism towards the wide receivers. But either way, man, like you know, if you're getting Jamar Chase or Saquon Barkley. You know, you really, really can't go wrong. So, personally, I like the way that it's been set up. I think there's good running backs in like the fourth or fifth round. So, for example, I'm pick 1.1 right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
1.11. My goal is I want to go because I shoot for upside.
Yeah, of
So
course.
I like my stack is Nico Collins and Brock Bowers, and hopefully I get it. All right. So I got Nico Collins, right? And then hopefully at 2.2, I get Brock Bowers. Um, and this way, because it's like Nico Collins, right? How I look at it, he's like late first round pick, actually, beginning of second round. He was on pace for 2,000 yards before he got hurt, you know, and I feel like everybody forgets that. And I think he's being bought at a dip right now. And I think he's easily a top five fantasy football wide receiver. And then I love getting Brock Bowers with that next pick, which I was able to. Because
What do you think about the kid Higgins they took?
Jaden Higgins, yeah,
Yeah.
he's nice. Like they also took Noel, who isn't bad either, in the third. So they're loading up. They're trying to help CJ Stroud. They're making smart decisions. But I still think Nico is going to be that alpha. You know what I mean? Like he's the veteran. Stroud, obviously, that's his go-to. He has the connection with him. I think Higgins will come in and it will actually help Nico because now, you know, teams can't just focus on Nico Collins, you know, and it was kind of
Right.
heading that way after, you know, they lost Stephon Diggs to ACL. They lost Tank Dill to another ACL, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I think this will actually help Nico. I still think he's going to be the alpha there without a doubt. I think he's going to get a ridiculous amount of targets this season. And if he stays healthy, I wouldn't bet against him being a top five wide receiver. I feel really confident in that.
Yeah, I mean Nico, man, he kind of like a couple of years ago, you know, coming out of Michigan, I was like, all right, you know, everybody was talking him up. I was kind of a little late to the party, and then just watching him the past couple of years, I mean, yeah, he's completely legit. He's got great size, great speed. Stroud, you know, are they going to be able to protect him a little bit better? They kind of did some weird things with that offensive line, shipping off guys left and right. So that was kind of an issue for him. But yeah, Nico's going to be the guy there. I do like Higgins, what I saw out of him. Jalen Noel, I don't mind him either. I think he's a good little piece, you know, a good slot receiver. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind going Nico. I mean, he's certainly a stud, and he kind of showed that last year, showing himself as one of the best receivers in the league. So mine is down to two people. Did you join the 20-second one by chance? Do you think, or are you in 30 seconds?
I am in 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what that was just weird. I got out of the other 30-second one. I jumped into the 20-second because the 30-second was taking forever. But I'm down to two people, so I
That's
should
crazy, man.
I'll
Yeah,
pull it up. I'll pull it up soon, and then we could go over my draft. But you know, you keep doing your thing. You can talk about your draft as well.
yeah, absolutely. I must have just snuck in and you
Yeah.
must have just missed it.
Yeah, our boy Al, friend of the show, says, "Sup, fellas." Al usually joins us all year long. Welcome to the show, Al. All right, so we're still waiting for two. Did you pick again or no?
No, I'm up in seven picks. I hate this rapper. I don't like this spot. Trying to figure
Yeah.
out.
And I kind of like DK too because you go 20 rounds, whereas underdog is
Yeah.
18. I kind of like the two extra rounds, right? Don't you like that a little bit better?
I do. And they have Rashi. Rashi Rice is a guy that I'm targeting this year.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've been watching his some of his workouts. He looks good. Like I'm not really concerned. Like I know he just tore his ACL,
Right.
but you know, if these guys they have the best doctors, if they do rehab it the right way, like they're gonna come back
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh
He's young too. And plus that was kind of early. What was that like week?
Great. It was like week four.
Yeah, it was early. So yeah. So he's got time.
Oh yeah. And I think his court case or whatever from the accident. That's apparently getting pushed back from what I've read. Again, this isn't like in concrete, but if that's true, man, I mean he's another one. You look at that first 3 games, he was on pace to be a top 5 fantasy receiver easily. So he on DK, you can get him in the third, fourth round. I think that is a steal. But unfortunately, in this one, he's ranked like on Underdog. They got him ranked like 29th or 30th, so he's already gone.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, so I got the second pick here.
Ooh, okay,
Can you
okay.
see that? Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got the second pick. Let me just pull the board up. Hold on. All right, there's the board. All right. So yeah, this is 20-second clock. So I'll go a little bit faster. So you got the 30-second, I got the 20-second. Maybe we'll finish around the same time. We'll see. All right. So Bitcoin is picking first. Do you invest in Bitcoin at all, Ernie?
I do not. I gotta
No,
probably
not
start.
yet. You better get it, man. Get those Satoshis going, bro. All right, so Jamar Chase goes off the bat. Are you noticing Chase? Wow, this freaking clock is so damn fast. I can't even think right now.
I'd go Barkley.
Yeah, I'm going Saquon there.
I just think you have like, dude, like. So I'm a Giants fan, unfortunately, and I always thought the Saquon injury prone claim was always a joke because like his injuries were more of like he had like a rolled ankle.
Yeah,
He
right.
did tear his ACL the one year, right? He's not the only player to tear an ACL. It's like usually like I look for like Christian McCaffrey when it's like always like a muscular issue or something like that, something weird. I feel like that's injury prone. I think Barkley, man. I think he's a specimen. I think on that offense with that offensive line, man, like you got he's another but if you pass on him, right? And then he does what he does again, you're gonna hate yourself, So you kind of gotta bet on him. I don't think
Yeah,
he
I mean, I don't. That's why I don't like the 20-second clock. Now, if you're doing a bunch of these, you're trying to fill the draft. I know dudes on here, they draft like 4 of these at once, which is insane. They're definitely messing up their picks because you're going crazy, especially if you're doing a 20-second clock.
that's
But you got
wild.
to when you're trying to max out these best ball contests. A lot of these guys are going 150 entries.
Yeah.
That's what these guys are doing. But 30 seconds, give me some clarity, especially when I'm doing a show. I mean, it's one thing if I'm, by myself and I could just focus in 20 seconds, I could do a lot better. But, I'm doing a show, I'm trying to make content, you know, uh, 30 seconds. I need at least 30 seconds, but we'll get it done here. So yeah, off the board, Barkley, then Jefferson, Lamb, Bijan, Gibbs, Neighbors, Genty goes 8, McCaffrey, Nakua, St. Brown, Drake London, AJ Brown. What's the earliest you would take Genty in a best ball draft?
Honestly, man, I'm trying to avoid him this year. I feel like his price is too
Mhm.
inflated right now. I honestly, again, I could sound like an idiot saying this. I wouldn't be surprised if Amari and Hampton had better production than him this year. Kind of similar to Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison last year. Like if you said that before the draft, people
Or
would call you.
Brian Thomas, yeah.
Right, right.
Mm.
And the reality is like the Chargers, man, like they have a top 5 probably young offensive line. Like they have Staley and I'm sorry, Slater and Alt, which is probably one of the better tackle tandems in the league. John was a Harbaugh wants to just absolutely pound the football. So I like Hampton because he had a good RAS score. Fun fact, Ryan actually told me this on the last show. Harbaugh tried to recruit Hampton out of high school to come to Michigan, but he got him in the NFL now. So Genty to me, dude, I like him. I am an Ashton Genty fan. If you're not an Ashton Genty fan, just go watch the Penn State Boise State game because he really proved all the doubters wrong. But you look at the Raiders, and it's like they're probably the 4th best team in their division right now. Their offensive line is still a work in progress. So I think he's going to be a volume king his first year. Um, but I don't know if he has the team to really produce like elite numbers. I think he'll probably be like a strong RB2. But again, I could be completely wrong because he is a freak. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I watched Hampton. I thought he was good. I didn't think he was like I didn't think he was anything special. That's just my opinion. But they also have Najee there. And I don't know if he's gonna just take the job from Najee. I feel like if anything, it's kind of be a 50-50 split, you know. Interesting on the Harbaugh thing. That's definitely something. I took Bucky Irving here in the second round. But yeah, I mean, I feel like Najee, man, he's kind of like the guy never gets hurt. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a veteran. I think both guys are in a good situation there, playing with Harbaugh. Yeah, I think that I don't know if he's going to outproduce Genty, but I see what you're saying that Genty could be going kind of high, just like Harrison was. I do a lot of leagues, man. I played in like 50 leagues last year, and I only took Harrison in one league. And
Right.
I instantly didn't feel good about it because I was getting him at the back end of the first round. I just didn't like the price for
I
Harrison at
think a
all.
lot of people were expecting him to have like that Jamar Chase year one impact, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's why his like because the talent's there, the pedigree's there, like he is a very, very good wide receiver. Um, and I think all of that together just kind of made his price inflated.
Yeah.
Um, the reality is he's a rookie. He's going with Kyler Murray, right? Murray, it looks like he prefers the tight end. So it was a hard. I feel like situation to navigate. It was easily to be deceived
Yeah.
because he really does have the talent to be an easy 1,000+ yard receiver, 10+ touchdowns. So hopefully him and Kyler figure it out this year. But I agree with you, man. His price last year was way way too high. I only found myself drafting him in a couple of leagues when like my guy that I was targeting wasn't on the board anymore.
Yeah, and I think Harrison, when I watched him, I thought he lacked a little bit of explosiveness. Like, he's very smooth, obviously. He's got good size, but when you're in the NFL and you're playing against athletes similar to your size, you gotta I think and there was weird vibes in the beginning too. It looked like he was like losing interest out there almost. And then he's paired with Kyler, who is not like the most accurate guy. Like I feel like Harrison would be better off with like a Stafford type, somebody that could pinpoint passes
Justin
to him.
Herbert.
Like a Herbert, something like that. So I don't know if it's so I don't know how much of a leap he's going to take up this year. I mean, what do you have like 8 touchdowns, like 800 yards last year, which isn't bad for a rookie, but for the first receiver overall, you're obviously expecting Neighbors type numbers or Brian Thomas type numbers. So I don't know. I mean, now what he's going like what in the 5th round now, Harrison, for the most part.
Yeah, man. I mean, I agree with you where I'm not chasing him this year either because it's like again you could bet on the talent, but it's like you also got to bet on the situation, and it's like I don't know if I feel like betting on Kyler Murray this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And then you got Trey McBride just eating up freaking targets left and right because he's such a
he's a
monster.
monster,
He's a
yeah, dude.
monster. Yeah.
He is.
He is a monster. Yeah. I
He's
love
just
Trey
as good as
McBride.
Brock Bowers, just as good.
Yeah, I mean, it's I pretty much agree with that. I think it's very, very close between those two. They're both beasts. I mean, Brock Bowers and everybody was scared off of him last year because the quarterback situation and Meyer was there. But once the Devontae Adams was out of the way, it was just like Brock Bowers show all day long.
Game over. Yeah, floodgates open.
Yeah,
I was scared too because it was like Minshew or was it O'Connell or the kid's name was.
Connell and Minshew. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I was, but Brock Bowers is QB proof, man. It doesn't matter who's back there. That kid's open all day, every day. But yeah, he's a monster. They're both really fun to watch.
What do you think about Travis Hunter in the 4th round? Do you think that? Because I felt like he was a better corner than a receiver, but maybe he's equal in both parts. But what are your thoughts on Hunter this year?
Yeah, dude. So I actually agree with you. Like, I think he's a better corner than receiver. Like, he was heavily recruited by Florida State. Florida State is known to produce really good corners. Um, so I'm out on Travis Hunter just because of that alone, and two, it's too much of like it's too murky. I don't know how much corner he's going to play. I don't know how many snaps at receiver he's going to play. And also, let's not just forget that they have Brian Thomas. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And he's already said, Collins already said the offense is going to run through him. And yeah, when I watch Thomas, I just feel like, yeah, he's still going to be the alpha there, no matter what.
without a doubt, man, because it's like you take that into first of all, he's playing the X. So it's like the one thing is that they're going to be playing two different positions. So a lot of people they're going to be like, okay, well, insert Liam Cohen's offense from Tampa Bay. So you'll see Tootin get um, compared to Bucky, right? You'll see Brian Thomas get compared to Mike Evans, and then you're going to get Travis compared to Chris Godwin. That's what people think is going to happen. And it logically makes sense because this is the same offensive coordinator from Tampa Bay. It's like Travis Hunter's going to have to come out and get a Chris Godwin level workload, right? And there are concerns about like you watch the videos on Twitter recently of him running routes. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, he's kind of feeling like a real gamble. You know, where it's like, hey, if it hits, like, you know, let's say they deploy him more as a receiver and he's a slot machine and he's a PPR monster, then, you know, it was a great pick. But it's like, do you feel I personally don't feel like comfortable gambling on that year one.
Yeah, and Lawrence kind of has his own issues too. So, and Brian Thomas, I mean, the dude was going off with Mac Jones, Lawrence. Didn't matter who was back there. Is Hunter going to be able to do the same thing? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I play in enough leagues where I'm going to take some shots on Hunter, and certainly it's early in the process now. I'll go back and watch Hunter again more and more, and maybe I'll change my evaluations. Obviously, you pay attention to what happens in camp. You see how much they actually are going to use him, because I would think they're going to want to use him at corner, right? I mean, he's not just going to exclusively play receiver. Do you think he's? I mean, I don't know if you answered that earlier, but I just feel like it would be smart to get him at corner because he's so good there.
No, I agree with you, man. Like it's kind of like what I was saying before. Like you look at when he was recruited, he was really heavily recruited by Florida State, and they wanted him to be a corner. And Florida State produces really good NFL corners. So
Right.
then he kind of, went with Dion, and they're like, well, this kid's a freak. We could use him both ways. And that's the thing where it's like part of me believes he's going to be a better corner than he is wide receiver. But then also you got to take into consideration, like, bro, he's a human being. So he's not playing 100%, like 100% of the snaps on defense and offense. So how are they going to divide that up? You know what I mean? So again, I don't think he's going to be the Shohei Ohtani of the NFL. I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Right.
It really is tricky to navigate because the upside and all of that is tantalizing, right? But if he got drafted as a receiver and they're like, hey, he's going to play my Chris Godwin role, then I'd probably be more inclined. Right now, I just don't know how much receiver he's playing.
Yeah.
And how much of Brian Thomas is going to eat up of the targets. You know what I mean?
It sounds like they want to use him at receiver. I just don't know. I'm going to take Mark Andrews here. So, I got one more pick coming up. Then we'll go over your team, what you got so far, and then we'll go over my team, what I got so far, and we'll kind of analyze it. How many rounds you threw so far on your side?
I wish we were drafting together, man. It's like I'm like looking up trying to hold a conversation with you while I'm drafting.
I mean, we could start drafting together if you want. We could just split this team. We could finish it off together for sure. Yeah, let's do that.
I'm on round 9. We just got to 9.
Okay, let me just make this pick. I'm jumping the gun here.
This board is so much different than DraftKings. It's crazy.
All right, so yeah, I'm through 7 rounds. I have Josh Allen, Barkley, Bucky, Jameson Williams, Zay Flowers, Andrews, and I didn't want to take Ingram, but the 20-second clock, so I got Andrews and Ingram, which isn't bad. I got 2 solid tight ends. They don't have the same bye week, 12 and 7, so that's good as well. What do you got on your end?
So right now, let me pull up my team. All right, so I got Nico, Brock Bowers, Hampton, Harvey, Kenneth Walker, Travion Henderson, Josh Downs, and Trey Harris.
I like it.
Around.
You got a couple rookies there, man. What do you think about RJ Harvey? Think he's legit? He's the real deal, and he's going to shine in Denver? Because the rest of the running backs there stink. So, I mean, I kind of like Estime, and he's a different type of back anyway. But what do you think of Harvey?
Yeah, dude. So, great point on SMA too, because I'm an SMA guy, but I
Well,
would,
he's from Jersey, St. Joe's, Montvale, though. And I'm a touch.
yeah, I would, I would draft um, RJ Harvey like full confidence. Like, this kid is going to play Sean Payton's Joker role, right? He was handpicked by Payton. I think Payton's primary target at running back, if I wasn't mistaken, was Travion Henderson. Obviously, that didn't pan out. Patriots took him pretty early in the second round, so they got their other guy. Also, I thought it was interesting. Gladstone and Liam Cohen were also targeting RJ Harvey, right? So, a lot of good offensive minds wanted this kid. You look at RJ Harvey, he's like the same size as Ashton Genty, literally. I think Genty might be a couple pounds heavier. So, a lot of people are concerned about the size. I'm not, man. I think the upside, the talent, the role that he's entering, I
Yeah,
think it's going to explode year one. The only concern is like, well, this is more for dynasty. He's an older rookie. He's 24.
right.
So that is a little old because think about it. By his second contract, he's going to be 28. Running backs usually fall off around 29, 30. So really, actually 28. But sorry, I'm just making my pick real quick.
No, go ahead.
I absolutely love RJ Harvey this year. I think the hype is real. I think a lot of people are on to, this is going to be the guy that plays the Alvin Kamara role. And yet he really would just have to lack talent to not produce, in my opinion.
Do you think he's better than Bucky Irving, or he's not as good as Bucky Irving?
That's a great question. Well, Bucky is obviously interesting, right? Because he just had such a crazy rookie season. And now it's like, will he do it again with a new offensive coordinator? That's my only concern about him. So right now, obviously, I have to go with Bucky Irving, right? Just because he's done it in the NFL, right? Um, but I would not be surprised when the season's over, like in PPR, if RJ Harvey flirts with top 10 running back numbers. I really
Wow.
don't.
Wow, you
I
love him.
yeah, dude. I mean, I think he's going to enter a monster workload. Like he's going to carry the ball. He's going to catch the ball. He is an insane receiver, dude. I watched him play at UCF a lot. Um,
Yeah,
his over prop, it was so funny, man, because it would always be something ridiculous, like 130, and the
yeah.
kid like has like 188 yards. Like he was a beast, dude. So I am again. It's all like fantasy's fun, man, because it's educated guesses. That's all it is. Like you're taking a guess on this guy, producing at a level you expect, and I am buying RJ Harvey. I think he will be one of the rookie stories looking back where it's like, why didn't I buy more of him? It makes too much sense. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's it. That's interesting. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the show. Are you in on RJ Harvey as much as Ernie is this year, or are you staying away? While you were talking about RJ, by the way, UCF, that's like an hour from me. It's a real easy drive. I went to one of the college basketball games. I watched them play Houston 2 years ago, which was fun. But I want to get to some of their football games this year for sure.
Hell yeah.
It's an easy drive, and yeah, I definitely got to check it out. I'm mad that I didn't get to see RJ Harvey last year, but I took Trey Harris. I could have took Ibuka, but I took Harris. What do you think about that over Ibuka?
Dude, I love that so much. So I am an Ibuka fan. Ohio State receiver, so the pedigree's there. You look at all the Ohio State. There's two wide receiver universities. There's LSU and Ohio State, right? And he goes into an awesome landing spot. But it's like he's more of a dynasty play because you still have Chris Godwin there. You still have Mike Evans, right? But these
Jalen McMillan, everybody's discounting Jalen McMillan like he's just going to disappear. I thought he looked pretty damn good, and to me, I think he might be the best receiver that came out of Washington.
Oh yeah, I mean McMillan's a stud too. Their GM, he's a savage. I love the Bucks GM. Um, my thing is this: is that I think Ibuka is like a next year play. Like I think he'll be like kind of like a JSN where he'll have his like year two explosion. Trey Harris. So here's why I am a huge Trey Harris stan. He was he's easily probably, if not my one of my favorite receivers in college football. He was leading the country in like so many categories before he got hurt this year. Um, and during the draft, Harbaugh wanted to take him with the first round pick they had. That's how much he
Wow.
likes Trey Harris. And what happened was Horitz, who's an awesome GM, Horace goes, no, listen, we can still take our boy Hampton and we'll get Trey Harris round two. Trust our team, trust our analytics. Like we did our homework. Like Trey Harris should be there. Right. And they did a really good job because, he was. And now when you think about it, Lad McConkey, who I love, I was in on Lad McConkey last year. Um,
Yeah.
he plays the slot role. So think about it this way: back like you go back a few years ago when you had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in their prime. Well, so you have Keenan Allen in the slot. Now you have Trey Harris playing the Mike Williams role, and Trey Harris is a stud, man. So I think this kid year one is going to get a monster. Like I think he gets a monster target share. I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the rookie receivers that cracks 1,000 yards his first year. I really do. I think Herbert is a very underrated quarterback. I
Mhm.
think they're craving an X receiver, right?
Yeah.
And they're going to start
Well,
airing it
Quinn
out.
Johnson, Quinn Johnson, I mean, he just drops too many balls and he's not reliable. So, I
I'm,
hate to say it, but he just hasn't been fully reliable. He shows flashes, but
yeah, man. No, I'm with you, dude. I'm personally, I'm out on Quentin Johnston. I was in on him, his rookie year when he first came out because of the landing spot. I didn't like the
right.
talent, but I'm like, oh man, like Justin Herbert, X receiver. The room was getting kind of drying up, and I was like, I'm in. But now that's why I love Trey Harris because I think they finally got a really good talent to fit that role. Somebody that's not going to drop the ball, make boneheaded plays. Like this kid is legit. You look up his advanced analytics, he's like first in everything. So I think the Chargers hit a grand slam. I think they crushed the draft. I think they're going to be a team that takes off this year. Again, I could be completely wrong, and he could be another Trey Harris, right? I just think there's too much upside to like here for me personally to pass on.
Yeah. Tell me to raise up the draft board. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I am team two. So I took Keon Coleman to pair him with Josh Allen. Now, I'm not the biggest Keon Coleman guy, but I wanted at least one stack there. Thanks, Scott. I did raise up the draft board. And then I took Travis Etienne. Now, everybody's assuming this dude Tootin is going to come in and take Etienne's job, or obviously, um, they have other guys. But what do you think about Etienne? And do you think he's going to play that Bucky role, or you think it's going to be Tootin?
I actually I'm gonna go against you here. I do think it's gonna be Tuen, only because you look at ETN where he's at. He's at the end of his contract, right? The new regime doesn't really have an obligation to him. You know, Tank Bigsby is solid, but he has fumbling issues, and they
Right.
were targeting RJ Harvey if he was there in the beginning of the third round, which already tells me it's like, why are you drafting RJ Harvey if you trust what you have? You don't. So again, I'm just guessing, educated guess. Liam Cohen gets their, Tootin was still a hand-picked running back who they liked. They had them high on their board. So I think he's going to come in. He's going to play. I don't know. I think they're definitely going to have a committee week one, right? And that's really going to decide everything. Like if you're a Travis Etienne guy, you have to pray that week one he balls out. And hopefully that, bringing in Tootin and just pissed him off and he's in a contract year and now he plays out of his mind, right? But I think you're going to see a lot of Tootin, week one. And I mean, dude, this kid is 210 pounds and runs a 4.3. Like he's not something to sneeze at. So the Jaguars backfield for me it's like I've been avoiding unless like Tootin is there, kind of like um in a range that I like, or like there's guys that I don't like, guys that I like aren't there, then I'll take Tootin. But that's just me personally, man. I could see Travis Etienne making me look like an idiot and being a monster this year.
Okay, these receivers up here, I got McMillan, Noel, Quentin Johnson, Josh Palmer. Remember, I got Josh Allen, Cedric Tillman. I kind of like that one.
Yes,
Xavier Leggett, Romeo Dobbs. I kind of like the Tillman here.
I take the yes, Tillman, 100%, bro.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
He's got
he was breaking out until he got hurt and didn't play the rest of the year. Now, who the hell is going to be the quarterback there? It's freaking Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders. Maybe Watson comes back week 11. Who the hell knows? But who do you think is going to win that job? I kind of think that Flacco is going to start like the first couple games, and then maybe he'll throw a couple picks, and then they'll probably either go to Sanders or Gabriel. What do you think?
yeah, dude. So I think it will be Joey Cool, Mr. Flat. And I think that's great for Jerry Judy and Cedric Tillman, man.
Oh
I really
yeah, oh for sure. I
honestly,
mean, he helps guys put up fantasy numbers for sure.
yeah, man. Yeah, so like another guy I'm in on this year, I have a couple of guys that I think have crazy talent, but nobody has seen it yet because they haven't really produced in fantasy. And that's Josh Downs. And how
Yeah.
like my argument for that would be look at his numbers when Joe Flacco took over, right? He was a solid fantasy wide receiver. So I think Jerry Judy's going to benefit from it. I definitely think Tillman's going to benefit from it. I love Cedric Tillman since his Tennessee days. I think he's a big, nice X receiver. He does remind me of Nico Collins, right? He might not be as great of a route runner, but he does a lot of things similar to Nico. And
Mhm.
you hit it on the head. Like he was in the middle of a breakout before he got hurt. So yeah, I'm definitely in on him. And then again, you got to respect at least what the Browns like. They're taking multiple shots on the quarterback position. They didn't like anybody early enough to take them with their second overall pick, so they traded out and traded back to 5 and took the best player available that they had on their board. But they took a lot of quarterbacks later. Gabriel, Shador. So we'll see. Because again, one of those kids could end up being something solid, right? And then they could come in if the Browns are 2-9 at the bye or whenever their bye is. I would imagine they're going to try to take a look at one of the younger guys that they like to see if they have somebody to build around, or they gotta look for a quarterback in the upcoming draft.
Yeah. By the way, since we got split up, we'll split this team regardless. So we'll track it all year, see how it does. Running back, I got 4 running back. Or we got 4 running backs: Barkley, Irving, Brian Robinson Jr., ETN. Who do you? We got Algier on the board, Dowdle, Dylan Sampson, Roshan, Jalen Wright, Devin Neal, rookie. What do you think about what do you think about Devin Neal, or maybe J.K. Dobbins signs in a good spot? What do you think?
If you're looking for like a running back in this range, and this guy's probably like, I love Jarquez Hunter.
Okay,
So
I have him on my queue as well. I like him too. He kind of reminds me of Dobbins, like Kyron, the way he runs too.
yeah, dude, like I love Jarquez. So every Saturday, man, I'm watching college football, and my go-tos are SEC or Big Ten, mainly SEC. Um, he was a beast at Auburn this year. Like he is just an athletic freak. I was actually reading about him. He's like he's 5'9". He can dunk a basketball. He squats 600 pounds. So he's a freak of nature. And you look at him when he runs, he just runs through tackles and he just accelerates, man. Like he's really fun player to watch. And why I am big on him is because uh I loved Blake Corum. I was a big Blake Corum guy. And when the Rams took him, I got excited because Kyron Williams is a great pick, but he was a 5th round pick, right? His RAS score isn't crazy. There was a lot of wear and tear. So you thought, like, okay, like the Rams being a smart team, they're going to draft a running back to replace Kyron so they don't have to pay him. But then you saw that this year where it's like, um, if they believed in Corum, they would have played him more, right? And ultimately they didn't. So the Rams had no business drafting a running back this year. You could argue Kyron and Blake is a good RB room, but this was a very good running back class, and it was very deep. And I can't stress this enough. Good players fell. Like there were running backs going in the fourth round that would go day two on a normal year, and Jarquez Hunter is one of them. And the Rams, Les Snead is probably one of my favorite GMs. Like him and McVay are an awesome tag team. One of the smarter teams that draft very good late. We're like, yo, we like this running back so much. We're going to trade back up for him in the fourth round. You know, so to me, that sounds like not only insurance, but it sounds like a player that they're going to come in and give touches right away. I think a lot of these teams are going to try to go with this committee approach, but I think Jarquez, similar to Bucky last year, like the plate might start out small, but I think he'll get more touches as the year goes on. And when you're looking at these running backs this late, they're all like handcuffs. I think Jarquez has the highest upside of any of them. I really do. I think he could be a stud if Kyron goes down, or this
Yeah.
could be Kyron's heir. Because again, he is in a contract year, so we'll see. The Rams are a smart team, and I think they targeted him for a reason. I do.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyron's he's taken a lot of punishment the past couple years. So I could see them mixing in Jarquez, and I kind of like Jarquez better than I like Corum. The way those two play. So yeah, I'm gonna go after a little bit of Jarquez. I did take him. We got a question in here from Tyson Carter: London Lad or Nico, 211 spot in Dynasty. Who you taking?
Neat. Oh, in Dynasty.
Yeah,
So then I wouldn't take Lad because I think Lad's price, great player. I think his price is a little inflated right now. Um, I would definitely go Nico or London. If you're looking to build a more youthful team, London. But if you want to, just go for like the jugular this year, I would take Nico. I think Nico is, again, I think he's a top five fantasy receiver in fantasy football, without a doubt. I think if he didn't get hurt, he would have easily finished in the top three. So, and again, he's like 25. Nico is not really old. So you're going to get, a good amount of years out of him. So it's really a toss up between London and Nico. I am a huge Nico Collins fan, so I'm going to slightly lean Nico. But Drake London is a phenomenal pick if you want to go that route too. I value those two way more than I do Lad McConkey for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's close. I mean, I loved Lad coming out last year. Nico's a stud. London now. We'll see how Penix works with him. That is close, but yeah, I don't mind going Nico there as well. All right, we're up. The clock is so damn fast. I'm not even gonna have time to freaking. Do you like Alec Amanor from
Love
Stanford?
love him, dude. We're in like sync right now, dude.
All right, I took him. I took him.
Perfect, dude.
I mean,
So
you seems like you love most of the rookies, bro. I haven't had one rookie you haven't liked yet, though.
oh yeah, dude. So I when the draft's over, I go through all the offensive rookies that are picked, right? And then I kind of have my favorites, and I have my favorites throughout every round. Like I even like there's a 6th round rookie I like this year, Joe Horn.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I like what I saw in him a little bit too. Is he Joe Horn's son?
I have no idea, dude. I think that's what I thought, but
I
I
used
don't.
to love. I love Joe Horn, man, when he
Yeah.
played.
No, he again like Carolina, the only slot receiver they have is Thielen, but he's like 35, so he's up there. I'd imagine he's retiring any day now. And, they just drafted Tet, but that receiving room is really lacking good receivers. And Joe Horn right now apparently is, tearing up the practices that they've held for the rookies. And I do believe that the Carolina receivers, like, there was LeJounte Wester, Joe Horn. I think these guys were underrated receivers. They had really good Senior Bowls. So, yeah, man, there's rookies I like in every round. I try to get ahead of the curve before, like, everybody else. Because, again, it's like, if you're correct on these rookies, you know, and you had a strong first half of your draft, and then you hit on these rookies that actually produce year one, what's your probability of winning? That's my logic. That's how I look on it.
Yeah, I think the 2 years. I don't know what the data says this last from last year, but I remember 2 years ago. I think it was like most of the top teams in the underdog best ball mania. I think they had like seven guys that were either 7 or 8 guys that were rookies or sophomores combined. So, you definitely want to mix in rookies. Sometimes you don't want to mix in too much, but I mean, every year the formula is going to change a little bit. Last year it was like everybody got to get the receivers, and that totally switched up to the running backs. So,
Yep.
just play enough of these, play as many as you can, under your budget. And again, Underdog has the $3, they have the $10, they have tons of different things going on. Drafters has tournaments. We're gonna be doing some drafters. DraftKings has tournaments as well. But you mix it up the best you can. And obviously if you have the time to go back and watch these players from last year, the veterans and even the rookies, now with YouTube, you can watch as much as possible. And you got the analytics left and right all over the place. So you do as much research as you can. You come on this show, you listen to Ernie break down the rookies as well. And then, you make your decisions. All right, we got one pick left. I don't know if there's a guy in mind. Do you like Devin Neal at all? Brashard Smith. What do you think about him? I kind of like him. He kind of reminds me of Jerick McKinnon.
Yes.
He can play that role.
Yeah, dude, I would take the Brashard Smith dart throw there because get into Devin Neal is good, but he's playing behind Kamara. They do have Kendry Miller. I don't know, I used to be a Kendry Miller stan. I
Me
think
too.
he's a little too injury prone for the NFL. But there's some bodies in front of him, is what I'm getting at. Now, with Brashard, what makes Brashard interesting is we know that the Chiefs get hit on late running backs. They did it with Pacheco, right? But that running back room is really stale right now, and they're looking for some electric weapons. And I think you hit it on the head, dude. Jerick McKinnon, right? That's exactly what I'm thinking. But Brashard Smith, man, he's no slouch. Like, he can run the rock too. So I think Andy Reid's going to have a lot of fun with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he, out of those late running backs, if one were to produce the first year, I could definitely see it being Smith because they are lacking a receiving running back right now. So I think he's the much better pick over our Devin Neal based on their situations.
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised he fell to the seventh round based off what I saw out of him. And he was a receiver at Miami, and he played for SMU. And I don't know, it looks like he plays with a lot of energy, and he's got some strength in his legs for an undersized guy. And he's a good receiver. He can go up and get it. He's fast as hell. He ran a fourth, right? So yeah, I like him a lot. I feel like when I watch him, he's going to play that Jerick McKinnon role because Hunt's getting older. Pacheco can't really play that role now. Pacheco had that injury last year. I think he'll be a lot better coming off that injury. But I mean, even he was a 7th round pick. So yeah, man, I do like Brashard Smith. So we end up. We only have 6 receivers. I would have liked to get one more. That's why I was saying I like the 20 rounds at DK, and our receivers aren't really that strong. But again, we'll do more of these. We'll build some strong teams. But the team is Josh Allen. I took Cam Ward. We'll get your thoughts on Cam Ward in a minute. Then Saquon Barkley, Bucky Irving, Brian Robinson Jr., Travis Etienne, Jarquez Hunter, Marshawn Lloyd. Get your thoughts on him too.
That's a
Rashard
sneaky little pick. I like that.
Jamison Williams, Zay Flowers, Trey Harris, Keon Coleman, Cedric Tillman, and Alec Eomanor. That's how you pronounce it. Mark Andrews, Evan Ingram, Isaiah Likely. So what do you think about Cam Ward? I mean, when I watched him, he definitely looks like the best, quarterback, obviously, in the class. Accurate. He doesn't really like to run unless he has to. It seems like he does. He likes to stay in the pocket and just deliver the ball, which is kind of cool. But he can run. He's not like an elite runner, but he can move when he kind of has to. But he just kind of likes to stay in the pocket and deliver. And I feel like he could really just keep getting better and better and better as his career goes on. What do you think about Cam Ward?
Yeah, man. No, he's I like him. Uh this year when the buzz was about him or Shador, I was all team Cam. This kid was a 0-star recruit. He really worked his way um up to where he got to. Nothing was given to him. And you watch the highlights this year. There are some things that scare you, but there's a lot to like. He has a really big arm. He's really accurate. Um, and I do think he could have a big impact year one. That's why I think I kind of like Calvin Ridley this year. His price tag is kind of low, and he could be this year's Terry McLaurin, right? If
Mm.
Cam Ward is who we think he is, right, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. I think those two people are going to be Calvin Ridley and Alik. Um, I think Alik from Stanford is. I I don't know how he fell in the fourth round. I know he was invited to the Senior Bowl and he didn't go, so that might have affected his stock. But I really felt like he was a day two talent. So yeah, man, I think Cam Ward could have a sneaky good year, man. The upside is there, and he should be fun to watch.
Yeah, what do you think? What kind of year do you think he's going to have? I mean, it doesn't seem like again doesn't like to run a ton, so like a CJ Stroud type, like I don't know, maybe like 28 touchdowns. Like, do you see him throwing like 30 touchdowns in his rookie year, or like more like 25, 26, something like that?
I think yeah, somewhere between 20 to 30, you know.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
his floor is closer to, the 20 range and then, his ceiling would probably be 30. Again, they only got 31-year-old Calvin Ridley and then a bunch of rookies, so it's going to be hard for him to put
They
up
got Lock. They do have Lock. They do have Lockett too.
block if he's another
Yeah,
how old is he though? He's got
32, 33. Yeah, but he's a veteran. I mean, he's still going to be tough to get out of there. You know what I'm saying? And Traylon Burks. I mean, he just cannot stay healthy. He's
yeah,
he can't develop because he can't stay on the field. They got some good tight ends though. I like Chig. I kind of like Josh Weil and Gunnar Helm. Doesn't seem bad either. So they got a pretty good tight end room there.
I agree. Gunnar Helm, funny story about him. So he ran that horrible 40 where he ran like a 4.8. I found out actually recently he was running with a sprained ankle. Like there was a
Okay.
picture of his ankle. It was completely purple. It actually kind of made me like him more because it's like, damn, like
Yeah.
this is tough as hell. Where he was like, I don't care, I'm running, you know. So the Titans might have got a steal there. He was a really good prospect at Texas. So I agree with you there. And Chig's got juice. So
Yeah. And
um,
he started to come on a little bit towards the end of last year.
yeah,
Finally. Like they started to finally use him because he's pretty freakish.
yeah, man,
You
yeah,
know?
he's a stud. One of them is going to have to emerge, I would imagine. And I do think Cam Ward will be a solid NFL quarterback. So you're going to see some of these guys pop. It's kind of like you look at these fantasy offenses that they're fun to pick from because it's like I feel like the Titans are one of them. Where it's like, say you draft Calvin Ridley, like I was saying before, and Cam Ward is legit. Well, you probably just got what a top 15 fantasy wide receiver because he's his number one this year.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys you could get for cheap take dart throws on later.
All right. I mentioned Marshall and Lloyd. I liked him a lot. I thought that he was going to be a thing last year in Green Bay, and he just could not, similar to Kendra Miller, who
Yeah.
could never stay healthy. And then he got thrown into like the doghouse. Who the hell was the Saints coach last year? The Dennis Allen. He hated Kendrick Miller's guts. He was like keeping him in the freaking basement. And then once Dennis Allen got canned, Kendrick Miller came out of the basement and started to play a little bit. But similar to Marshall and Lloyd, he had a bad foot in his rookie season. And I like his talent a lot. I feel like as a late best ball pick, which could end up being a good situation if he ever gets some usage. What do you think?
No, I completely agree with you. I liked Marshawn Lloyd last year. He was a really good player at USC. They drafted him in the third round, which was interesting because they just paid Josh Jacobs. The reason why I agree with you, and I did think that was a very sneaky good pick, is because if you look at Josh Jacobs, he is kind of annoyingly injury prone, where he misses games every year, or that's what it at least feels like. He is up there now. I think he's 27, going to be 28, right?
What? Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and
he's
he's a
20,
heavy
28. Yeah, go ahead.
28, and he's a heavy volume guy. Like Josh Jacobs, a lot of his fantasy points came off of touchdowns you know. So again, Marshall Lloyd is a younger back. He's going to bring a lot of juice. So, he's really like, if Josh Jacobs goes down and this kid's finally healthy and he gets an opportunity, you
Yeah,
know, he might force himself into, sharing snaps with Jacobs eventually. So it really comes down to Jacobs, his health, where he's at with his physical ability, but he is getting up there. And again, I think these teams they're drafting these running backs for a reason. I think when you make a big investment into a Josh Jacobs, I don't think the Packers are stupid. I think they could see what I see, and that this guy, is the probability of him missing some games is high. So Lloyd is the insurance policy, and I think he's a really good one, man. I think it was unfortunate that he was hurt last year. He didn't really get to show off his skills, but no, if he's healthy, he is a little bit of a threat, without a doubt.
Yeah, Jacobs, it was kind of weird with him because he never really like, you know, he was always like 1,000-yard guy. Did have 12 touchdowns in 2020. And then, again, you were kind of right. 13 games, 15 games, 15 games. But then 2022, he had that monster season.
Yep.
1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, played all 17 games, 340 carries. And then everybody chased him the next year and got burnt. And then everybody was off of him going to Green Bay, which was a much better situation. And then sometimes you got to just look at the situation, makes all the difference. Same thing with Saquon. So he goes into a great situation, 300 carries, 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns. But yeah, you're right. I mean, 340 carry season, now a 300 carry season. It would make sense to try to get Marshawn a little bit involved. But they have that other running back. His name is escaping me. Emmanuel Wilson. He's not bad either. So we'll see. But I would expect Marshawn to kind of take a little bit of a step up. But this was fun, man. Real quick, go over your team. I want to see how it ended up. I hope you didn't neglect too much while you were drafting the other one.
Dude, it is terrible because I was trying to multitask. I don't know how this happened. I got way too many running backs and not enough receivers. But I'll run through it from quarterback down.
Go ahead.
So my quarterback rooms, I usually go 3 or 4 quarterbacks because I feel like, if you got 3 or 4 every week, you have a good shot at getting a QB1 number, right? So I went Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence this year. I think he has a bounce. I think he has kind of like a breakout. He has Brian Thomas. They just invested in Travis Hunter. So, we were talking about that earlier in the show. How much will he play at wide receiver? I don't know, but he is going to play some snaps there at least. And they got Liam Cohen, who I am a fan of. I think the offense will be better. I don't think the defenses in the AFC South are that good outside of Houston's. So I like Trevor Lawrence this year. Next quarterback I took was Matt Stafford. Another team I'm really bullish on is the Rams. They just got Devontae Adams. They have Puka Nacua. They drafted Terrence Ferguson, who is a stud in the second round, but they're going to pair him with Tyler Higbee. So they have a strong tight end room this year. The Rams, man, dude, if the Eagles didn't have Saquon Barkley, you can make an argument the Rams are going to win that game, And if Kyron Williams doesn't fumble the ball, which is probably why they drafted Jarquez Hunter, the Rams are in the Super Bowl. So Rams are a great team, man. I think, that's why the Rams didn't let Matt Stafford go this year. The Giants, there was other teams trying to pull Matt Stafford away.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Like that, all those rumors. I'm like, how is he, where is he going to go? I mean, the Rams are just going to start over all of a sudden. It doesn't make any sense.
He's not, dude. I'm a Giant fan. He wasn't going to come to this, clown circus.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah,
that would have made no sense for him. Why would you leave a team and then go to the Giants and end your career, go from one coast to the other? Forget it. It didn't make
dude. Like why would you go from less needed Sean McVay to that situation? It just beats me. But so he stays in the Rams. I think again, you're talking about value. I got him at pick 158. I love that because I think you're going to get potentially a top 10 fantasy quarterback really late. Then my next quarterback is Sam Darnold. I'm a Sam Darnold truther. I was in on him last year. I always thought, good, solid quarterback. Just unfortunately got drafted by the Jets, and the Jets and Giants are just terrible teams,
Yeah.
So I was just like, my logic was, wow, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, good offensive line, great offensive-minded coach, and Kevin O'Connell. Like, I think there could be some fireworks this year. Now he goes after a breakout season. He gets a good contract with Seattle. I do like Seattle. They got JSN. They drafted Arroyo in the second round. They got Cooper Kupp. So he's got some weapons there. I think if you're looking for a value quarterback, Sam Darnold is solid. He'll finish top 15 this year. And then this was like my last pick. Again, I'm probably going to get booed for this one, but I took Daniel Jones. I do think Daniel Jones does win that job in Indianapolis. I do think Daniel Jones wasn't as bad as people think. Coming from somebody that watches the games, I'm a massive critic of the Giants.
Yeah.
Giants are a horrible team, man. Like I don't think people understand like how bad they are. Their offensive line is horrible. Brian Dable, I think, is kind of overrated.
Well,
And
yeah, I think he rode Josh Allen's coattails a little too much there.
100%, dude. And the reality is like, when I talk to NFL fans, at the end of the day, I understand what Daniel Jones numbers are. I understand what the win and loss columns look like. I get it. But there's just a little bit more that goes into that. But unfortunately, the quarterback is the one that gets the blame. I do like him this year. I think he's a better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. I like Shane Steichen. The Colts have an awesome offensive line. They have really good weapons. So if you're looking for, a dart throw late for a quarterback with a lot of upside, I like Daniel Jones. Then to my running backs, I'll try to go through it quick. I took Amarian Hampton, R.J. Harvey, Kenny Walker, Travion Henderson,
Nice.
Tootin, and Jarquez Hunter.
Okay, yeah, we talked about all those guys. Kenny Walker, man. By the way, I'm rooting for Richardson to win that job. I think he's a good late upside pick. He doesn't really cost you much, but yeah, I mean, he could lose that job to Daniel Jones. It is possible. And I didn't like Darnold. I didn't want him on the Jets. I wanted the Jets to take Josh Allen, so that's why I was pissed about that. But yeah, Darnold really had a great season last year. There's no doubt about it. He really, and the Jets definitely ruined him, just like they ruined Geno Smith.
Yep.
That's a terrible organization. But yeah, Kenny Walker, man, he's in a great situation. He just needs to stay healthy. But I love him.
100%, dude. 100. I couldn't agree more. You look at Kenny Walker. He was the second highest graded PFF running back last year. So it's like, damn, like, dude, if this kid can just stay healthy, and I think this is the year. You know, let's hope he puts it all together. Because if you get him for 17 games, you're getting a solid RB1 easily. I'm a big
Yeah.
Kenny Walker fan.
Yeah, and sometimes these running backs, they're younger, like Saquon, like CMC. They get a few years in the league. They learn how to, adapt better. They learn how to take care of their body better. They change their diets up. So, maybe that's the case for Kenny Walker here.
Yes.
So, you can't just assume he's going to get hurt every freaking single year. And you got to bet on talent. You can't be scared. You got to bet on talent.
100%. Look, if he was going in the third round, that might be a little too expensive for me, right? But when you're getting him in, the fifth round, that's absurd, man. Like I agree with you. Like, you know, they're not going to be hurt every year. You got to take a shot at the upside, and I think the upside is too much to pass on for me at least.
Yeah. All right. Who you got a receiver?
So receiver, I went Nico. That's my number one. Then I got Josh Downs.
Yeah.
And I think,
Downs is solid. He's definitely really solid.
dude, he is my Kenny Walker of wide receivers. He's a top
What
five.
what do you think about the presence of Tyler Warren now, though? You think that takes away from Downs a little bit more?
No, I do not. I think in Steichen's offense, you're going to see the slot and the tight end are going to eat. Like you go back to his Philly days; those were the guys that really did benefit from his offense. Um, I think Tyler Warren's going to help the receivers more than hurt them because now it's going to open up everybody. You can't really just focus on one receiver.
Yeah, it's about time the Colts use one damn tight end too. They've used like 16 tight ends for like the last 7 years. Mo Alley Cox still there. I can't believe it.
Yeah, yeah, you hit it on the head, 100%. Josh Downs, man, like he is my Kenny Walker of wide receivers, dude. It's like if this kid can get a quarterback, like if you're right where it's like Anthony Richardson's the one that takes the step, or I'm right where it's like Daniel Jones takes a step in Indianapolis, Josh Downs is going to benefit from it. Like, and I will say this: the second he gets decent quarterback numbers, he is a lock for top 20 PPR wide receiver, without a doubt in my mind. And I think you'll see that this year. I really do. I'm a big
Yeah,
Josh.
he started the year last year with that high ankle, so he missed like the first 4 or 5 games, right?
Yeah, and he looked awesome in OTAs. Him and Anthony Richardson were apparently building like a really strong rapport.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
then
mean, I Richardson and him were connecting a little bit. It's just Richardson can't stay on the field. That's his issue too. He's always getting freaking hurt.
and his
But
deep ball accuracy is terrible. They got to really clean that up. But I mean,
well,
those
that's the other thing. He loves to throw the deep ball. He's got to start taking some checkdowns and work on his checkdowns too, and his accuracy there too. But he goes for the big play too much. Like he's got to just take some more layups.
oh yeah, without a doubt, couldn't agree more. Um, Next, I got Trey Harris. We talked about him. I think he's going to be a value this year.
Is he your number one receiver in the draft, or number two, or?
So, I mean, just based off of the landing spot, I mean, I love Matt Golden. I love Igbuka. Um, as crazy as this sounds, I'm not the biggest Travis Hunter fan, but we kind of talked about that.
Yeah.
Tet is interesting because I wasn't a Tet fan, but the Niners were trying. No, I'm sorry, the Rams were trying to trade up to get him,
Mm.
which was interesting to me because the Rams draft very well. So Tet could be good. So I have Trey Harris definitely in the top five. Like in terms of who's going to make the biggest impact year one, I think Trey Harris will be in the top five rookies for biggest impact for sure. So he's in my top five. How I would rank it, I don't know off the top of my head, but he's in there.
Okay. You got a couple more receivers, or you can move on to tight
Yes.
end.
The next one, sorry, my iPad locked. The next one I took our boy Cedric Tillman. Love him. And then this was like with my later picks. This was pick 155. This is a sleeper pick. I went with Pat Bryant, third round pick, wide receiver, Denver Broncos. There's a lot to like here. Okay. Again, rookie wide receiver could be a bust, but I'm betting on upside. And Sean, sometimes when the coaches speak, man, you just got to listen. And Sean Payton said, Pat Bryant reminds him a lot of Michael Thomas. And
Mm.
you look at the Broncos, right? They got Cortland Sutton, who's up there. He's like
Well, he
they're
wears the same number, 13. So,
yeah,
or he
man.
did wear the same number. Go ahead.
Yes, no, you're 100% right. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot of the times when you watch, like when the guy has the same number, you kind of like you always reminds you of certain guys for sure.
yeah. And Sean Payton comes out and he
Yeah.
reminds him of Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
So, Cortland Sutton is a great receiver. I don't think he'll be on the Broncos next year. And
Hey, he's 30, 30, 31 now, so it's possible.
yeah, he's up there. Exactly, dude. I don't think they're going to pay him again. I think this is his last year in Denver. But you look behind Sutton, and again, maybe Sutton could fall off this year. Again in the NFL, we hate it, but it always happens. Like a superstar just isn't themselves anymore. There's always going to happen. But behind him, who they have? I mean, you have Marvin Mims, who I think is a good gadget receiver. He's a good slot receiver. I don't really look at him like a number two. So that number two role to me is wide open.
Valet, Troy Franklin. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm not. Troy Franklin, I feel like was a better college football player at Oregon. I don't know if he's going to be a good NFL receiver. I don't think so.
You do got Ingram in the building though.
Yes, Ingram, and that's a good point. Almost forgetting about him.
Finally, Peyton's moving off his boy Adam Troutman. I mean, enough of Adam Troutman. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah, Lucas Kroll. But that's funny. I thought you made a great pick with Ingram. I think that's a fantastic upside pick because you look at his offenses and who benefits. Well, it's the Joker and the tight end. You go back to his Saints days. So yeah, Ingram's definitely going to get his this year. Ingram is a little injury prone, so we'll see if he can stay on the field. But I do like Pat Bryant. I think he played in the Big Ten. He was dominant, dude. He had a good PFF score. He's not good. He's not a world breaker with speed. He runs like a 4.6. But he is a big receiver. He catches everything. Could run great slants. I like him. I'm going to take the gamble on him. I think he could have an impact year one. I think that could be anywhere from a flex guy to, who knows if he takes off like Michael Thomas did year one. But I'm going to take a shot there. Then my next pick was our boy Alik. We kind of got into him. I think Alik, behind Calvin Ridley, he could be that guy.
Anthony loves that guy too.
Oh,
I got to study him a little bit more. Who would be your pro comp for him?
dude, that's a great question. Well, I don't know, man. He kind of reminds me of Cedric Tillman. He really does. Like, he's just a big body guy that like goes up and gets it. Like, there's his claim to fame was he went against Travis Hunter this year, dude, and he destroyed Travis Hunter. He had like 200 yards versus Travis Hunter. Like, it was insane.
I
Uh,
noticed Kyle Williams got the best of Hunter a little bit too, right?
yes, he did. That's one of my other rookie
Yeah,
darlings.
I like Kyle Williams.
Yes,
He stood out to me for sure.
he actually, dude, he went in this draft right before my pick. I was kind of like stunned because he's a guy I like to get late. He could emerge as the number one in that New England Patriots room.
Yeah, that's the thing too, guys. When you're playing these best ball drafts, like don't get so caught in the way the order of the players are listed. Go down the board, and you could take guys out of the normal ADP if you like them. Like you don't want to get caught in this rhythm. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Yes.
go out and take guys that you like, and scroll down and don't forget about them.
Steve, hey man, I couldn't stress that enough. Steve is 100% right, everybody. The consensus is always wrong. Don't be afraid to be contrarian and take shots on some upside. There's going to be rookies that outproduce their ADPs. There's going to be year two guys, year three guys that outproduce their ADPs. It happens every year, so if you have somebody you like, take the stab. But yeah, man, elite dude, you like. I don't think he should have been a fourth round pick, dude. He's a big body receiver, manhandled Travis Hunter. There was a lot of buzz of him going, being at least a day two pick, making his way. I read even first round, which wasn't surprising, but yeah, dude, he was there in the fourth round. The Titans traded back in to get him. I think they have a plan for him. I think the upside and the opportunity there is a good match. So I think he's a good stab late. And then to finish it up, I got my tight end room. I got two tight ends. Took Brock Bowers. I don't think he needs a summary, but then I did take Tyler Warren. I picked
Nice.
10. So
Yeah,
I like.
we didn't really touch on Warren too much, but when I watched him, obviously, like a lot of his targets, like they really schemed him open. But I did see some stuff in there where he could win, run some pretty good routes, and he definitely wins 50-50 balls, and he's got the strength to, play in the wildcat and finish on the goal line. So I think Steichen's going to get unique with him. And I feel like, running, throwing, I think he'll do that a little bit in the NFL too, especially if Richardson's the starter. They'll try to create packages like that. And I feel like Warren could have like 3, 4, 5 rushing, passing touchdowns. What do you think?
Oh, dude, absolutely. I am a huge Tyler Warren fan. I think he was one of the best college college football tight ends I've ever watched. Um, Brock Bowers was definitely number one, but like I think Tyler Warren was kind of like right there, man. Like he was awesome. He was awesome in the bowl game. He does everything, man. He could block. He's a receiver, and yeah, they scheme getting him the ball because he's that much of a playmaker, and the Colts knew that.
Yeah.
And I think when you look at Steichen and his offenses, the tight end is one of the biggest beneficiaries. So I think Tyler Warren, it's similar to Brock Bowers last year because you can make the parallel where it's like, oh,
Right.
like crappy quarterback rooms, right? I get
Yeah.
it, Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, but at the end of the day,
He's going to
these
help them. He's going to have to be relied upon. And he's going to help them for sure.
yeah. And I think it will be similar to Brock Bowers. Does he make the impact Brock Bowers makes? I don't know. That's because
He's not like the explosive player that Bowers is. He's a little more slow moving and like methodical, but once he gets going, he kind of just like he gets going, right?
he's
A
like
little
a
bit.
Jeremy Shockey, man. Like he's a yak guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I feel like
Yeah. I mean, he
he
definitely breaks tackles. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Like he gets the ball in his hand, he's trying to break somebody's neck. You
Yeah.
know, so I'm a big Tyler Warren stan. I think he is an awesome target in best ball, especially if you miss one of the good ones early.
Yeah,
But
because the narrative now too is, oh, Richardson stinks, Jones stinks. I don't want he fell into a bad spot.
yep,
So yeah, you're gonna get some value on Warren in some of these best ball drafts.
100%, dude. And I would absolutely be shocked if he doesn't finish a top 10 PPR tight end. I think year one, I think the way the tight end landscape is in the NFL right now, I just think in that offense, the volume that he's going to get,
Yeah.
I could see him finishing in the top 10 easily.
He's going in. He went in the 11th round in my draft. I don't know where he went in your draft.
I got
But
picked in 10, so I guess.
yeah, 10, 11. But yeah, remember Laporta a few years ago. I mean, he was going like what 13th round, 14th round. So it's similar to that.
Dude, he was going in the third. So like dynasty rookie drafts, they're like 3, 4 rounds long. He was going in the third round in dynasty rookie drafts that year, which was crazy to me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he was going late. So it look, it does happen. Like these, like I do think people are scared of the younger guys. They're scared of rookies. Like a lot of people, like they need to see it before they
Yeah.
can buy into it. But that's just not fantasy football, man. You got to try to guess, who's going to do it before it happens. So, because you're just going to buy low on value.
Yeah, and these tight ends now are starting to produce faster and faster. I mean, I remember like what Vernon Davis. I remember how much I loved him, but it took him like 5 years to 3, 4, 5 years to break out.
Yeah.
So now these guys are breaking out in their rookie year.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I'm with you on that. Any last thoughts before we get out of here?
That was my draft, man. Yeah, dude, that was awesome. Thanks for having me, man. I think we both had your draft was definitely better than mine. I don't like my wide
Well,
receiver.
that's our draft. Remember, we're going to split this team. So
Okay,
yeah,
word, man.
we'll follow it all year long. Actually, I wanted to ask you one more question. When you're building your best ball teams on Underdog, you get 18 spots. I know you said you like to go 4 quarterbacks. Like for me, I took Josh Allen. So like if I take a Josh Allen or Lamar, I don't really need another guy unless it's just for the buy. So I'm not
Yep.
going to stack. But yeah, like if you're not going to get one of those guys, to getting like 2, 3, 4 guys, I think that's a pretty good strategy because you kind of maximize, like you said, those 3, 4, 5 touchdown games, something like that. But how do you like to build your teams mostly? Do you like to get like 7, 8 receivers? What's the combo of the 18? Is there
Yeah.
like or you just kind of just spread it around?
So I don't take quarterback early. Just a preference for me. I try to get like the guys that are going to be values later, guys that could flirt with top 10 numbers. Usually I probably divvy it up. I go 3 to 4 on the quarterback, right? Then I probably shoot for 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, and then tight ends. I usually do 2 to 3.
Two to
You know,
three, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
sometimes,
this team was 2 quarterbacks, 7 running backs, 6 receivers. I'd like to flip that and get 7 receivers, 6 running backs,
yeah,
and then 3 tight ends. But I think with 2 tight ends, you should be good. But again, if you're not getting like studs, then having like 3, and I think 2 years ago, the data was like guys who had 3 tight ends were mostly finishing near the top. But again, it switches every year. I don't know what the data said from last year. But yeah, I think you got to get more receivers because you start 3 receivers in Underdog anyway.
yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, dude. Like that's why I try. Like you could almost avoid the 3 tight end room if you get Brock Bowers or McBride early, and then if you can get Tyler Warren, that you're gonna have 2 stud tight ends all year. But it
Okay.
does feel nice. It's kind of like if you have a third tight end, right? Or it's like I found myself in some drafts, I'll take Terrence Ferguson and Tyler Higbee, both Rams tight ends, right? And I look at it like they're just like one tight end together. But the probability now, it's where it's like, okay, if I have, Higbee, Warren, and Bowers, every week I'm going to have tight end 1 numbers from somebody, even if Bowers and Warren take a shit, right? Like now
Yeah.
Higbee, I have a chance of him. Like, what if he scored, you know, 5 catches, touchdown, 60 yards? Well, he just saved me. But and the same thing for the quarterbacks. When you're taking the quarterbacks, I'm taking like Trevor Lawrence, Matt Stafford, Sam Darnold, right? You're playing like a volume game where it's like obviously they're not going to produce like Josh Allen, but Trevor Lawrence is going to have 25-point weeks. Matt Stafford's going to have some monster weeks. And
Yeah.
now I'm just kind of playing the numbers that where it's like I just need one of them to have a monster week every week,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
For sure. For
cover
sure.
my ass. But I agree with you where most of your ammo should go to wide receiver. I'm just also where it's like I would like for that to happen, but I'm not going to force it. Like if there's a
Yeah.
good running back on the board that I like, I know is going to produce, I'm taking the talent, and I'll
Yeah.
just hope that, my later picks, they pan out the way that I hope they do.
Yeah, and you got to see how your team builds. Like if you're weak at running back, then like you got 3 running backs, but they're not that great. Then you probably need to maybe take 3 more. So and then running back historically is the most injury prone position. But I know last year most of those running backs held up pretty well. All right, man, this was great. We did best ball, but we got a lot into the rookies. Ernie did a great job breaking down all the rookies he likes, specifically RJ Harvey and Trey Harris. So if you missed any portion of the show, you could, listen on Spotify, listen any podcast, YouTube, rewind the show. But thanks everybody for joining us tonight. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, hitting that notification button on the Faceoff Sports Network. Me and Ernie will be back for more best ball drafts. We'll have more dynasty content, ADP movers and shakers, some high stakes stuff, auction stuff. Maybe some NBA playoff stuff as well. We're gonna, we get into college football, college basketball, so we got it all here at the Faceoff Sports Network. So, subscribe to the show. For Ernie and myself, you can follow me at Fantasy Savvy. You can follow Ernie at Fantasy Anony. So that's it, man. We'll be back soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.